Once I complete the foil, which we consider an inside, I will be moving on now to doing the outside color, which we discussed earlier. It is going to be a 6N and an 8NA with 20 volume. And we're going to touch up her roots throughout the entire head. Even where the foils are, I push color under the foils. There's not one spot without color. It is crucial that once you've put on the roots throughout the entire head, you go back and check to see if you missed any pockets between the foil and the hair that's being left out. And you'll notice as I'm brushing, I go up with the brush and down with the brush, and then at times you'll see me taking sections and feathering it with my fingers. And we're gonna go back with lowlights on the ends, and I bring the lowlights to the ends, not through the ends. This is one important thing to keep in mind. Her ends are high porosity, plus they're very blonde, and that is not a bad thing. The light ends, I like it to get lighter and brighter towards the tips, and we will be toning those out with the Shades EQ gloss, and we talked about it being 10 VB. Now there is a method to my madness, whether you start over at the right corner, the left corner, in the back, or you start in the right corner, left corner, in the front. My goal is to start from one side of the head and make my way around to the other, and then I go back and always check to make sure every single spot with hair color. Once again, inside highlight in the foil, outside color on the roots. Next step will be toning the ends. With the ends, we're using a Shades EQ Cream 8M. You can go darker from there, but I would always add a little bit of warmth because there's no contributing warmth in the mid shaft to the ends. So you don't have the factor like the roots do where it's got contributing warmth. It never hurts to have a little bit of warmth in your color when it comes to pulling it down through the mid shaft and ends. The exception would be, of course, if your client wanted an extremely cool color. Now, what to charge? I've been asked, how much do you charge for this service? Basically, I try to break it down by the hour, and I have done this technique for a very long time. It sounds like a lot, but once you get the system down of highlighting, root touch-up, and then pulling through lowlights and a quick gloss, I can get it done under an hour. I charge by the hour. So every market and every person with their experience and your overhead can vary. So you, I think, need to know your value and decide what you're worth hourly. And if something takes 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, it would be from $100 on up an hour. As we all know, there's so many variables. Some people have thick hair, thin hair, long hair, short hair, and this is where a consultation is huge. I'm a believer to under promise and over deliver. So I would recommend shooting high, and if it doesn't take that long, then you'd be able to adjust your price from there. I do the same thing when a client says, how long will it take? If I think it's only going to take 2 hours, I will tell them 3. And then when they're done in 2 hours, they're pleasantly surprised. And another thing I would like to mention, you'll notice in this video, I have a smaller brush in my hand at this point, and this is because I'm around the front of the hair. I do more of a toner with a 10 volume around the fine little baby hairs so that they're just nice and soft when the client pulls their hair up. I'd like to discuss too a couple options with Shades EQ. You can do a blur or root tapping. It's an excellent thing when you want to have more depth on the roots and more blended, and it's more shadowed, going down into lighter, brighter. You can mix 2 separate bottles, one bottle having the darker color in it, and you do a little root tap all the way throughout the crown, leaving the hairline and ends alone, and you feather that through. And then you go in with a lighter level, which could be a level 10 for the ends and around the face, and put that through. And then you can slowly blend those through. And say you used an 8 level on the roots and a 10 level on the ends, that becomes even more of a color melt. In this case, we're going to put one color on all over because she wants to be light and bright. Now you have a nice soft blend. When you mix the 6N and the 8NA, that makes a 7-level color. So it will be nice, soft contrast. This is where people say we're magic, but I don't think we're magic. I think we're mastering the world of hair color. When you know your product and all your techniques, then you can formulate or fix any situation that comes along and sits in your chair.